We are starting our recording. I've already worked through the first part. You can see what it is. If you just look right here, you can see what the answer was for part A, and you can see the answer for part B. It's very easy. And I'm going to explain part C. So if you understand how we got part C, if you're only watching the recording, you'll understand how we got part A and B. Okay. So part C, we're looking for, once again for this a ratio. The ratio of the two prices need to equal the ratio of the two marginal utilities. That's what we're trying to find. So what they're telling us for part C is the budget or the income remains at 12. However, the prices of oranges doubles and goes up to 4, from $2 to 4. And now we need to find out what a combination of apples and oranges would the consumer would want to now purchase in order to maximize him or hers utility, and then what is the total utility. So we jump back over here and we say, well, now I need to get you guys out of the way. Now we need to change the ratio. Now, instead of the price ratio being 1 to 2, we're going 1 to 4. So our ratios of marginal utility needs to be 1 to 4. So what I did is I said, well, let me see if there's anything. Let me go to 5 right here, because I know there's no 40s. I mean, because this one over here has to be 4 times the one over here. So there's nothing 4 times 20. There isn't anything 4 times 15. There isn't anything 4 times 10, but there is a 20 over here, which is 4 times 5. And there's no 4 times 2 over here, which would be 8. So the only thing that could possibly work here is 5 and 20. So that's the fourth apple gives you 5 for marginal utility, and the second orange gives you 20 for marginal utility for oranges. So I come back down here and I just say, okay, 4 apples at $1 each and 2 oranges at $4 each equals 12. So that works. So that's the budget, and this also meets our ratio requirement. And then I just simply add up the total utils, which, if we jump back up to our chart, is a 50 for 4 apples, and 50 for 2 oranges right here. See, and 50 plus a 50. The last time I checked was 100. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Julia, good. Good. Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. So that's not hard, is it? No? Yes? Problem 2. We are looking at utility and price elasticity of demand here. And first of all, they're asking you to define marginal utility. And I'll let you do that on your own, because it's in the book, it's in the videos, and you should have no problem at all defining that. You guys are smart, so I'll let you do that. So now they're giving us a table, and now we have Mandy. So they've actually given our consumer a name. Mandy spends all of her money on just fudge and coffee. That sounds good to me. Fudge and coffee. Okay. So in order to maximize her utility, should Mandy purchase more fudge and less coffee, purchase more coffee and less fudge, or maintain her current consumption? Explain. So what do we do? So we look at the ratio as it is now, okay? And the ratio as it is now is $2 over 4, and the marginal utility is 12 over 20. So we know that what she's doing right now does not maximize her utility because the ratios are not equal. And if we look at the per dollar marginal utility per dollar, we can see that for fudge it's 6 and for coffee it's 5. So she needs to do something different. So what she needs is she needs to get her margin utility for fudge to be lower, or the margin utility for a coffee to be higher. Now, think about this. Think about how you would get the marginal utility goes down as you buy more. So in order for this marginal utility of 12 to drop to 10, she needs to buy more fudge, because the more you buy, the lower your marginal utility is. Your total utility goes up, but your marginal goes down. And then if she wants to get the ratio to be 12 over 24, which means she's got to gain marginal utility in coffee, she needs to buy less coffee, because that would give her, because when you buy less of something, you get a higher marginal utility. If you look back over on this table right here, you can see the lower quantities, you have a higher marginal utility, and as you buy more and more, your marginal utility goes down, okay? So if you buy less, this number right here, the 20 actually goes up, which is why she needs to buy more fudge and less coffee. Does everybody understand how I got that? How I'm thinking about that? Okay, great. Next, they're asking us to, and when you explain it, let me just jump down here and just see how they're saying it. Let's see. Right. So you just want to explain it in terms of marginal. There's more than one way you can explain this, but you can just say that the marginal utility per dollar for a fudge is greater. So you want to buy more fudge and less coffee. You can just say that, or you can explain it in terms of the ratio, which I like. I like the ratio. Thinking of it in terms of a ratio versus the per dollar MUs, but that's just me. Okay, so next is part C, which is we're going to assume that the consumer, the demander, the buyer, always buys the same quantity, okay? So if the consumer always buys the same quantity, regardless of price, we know that the demand curve is perfectly vertical, because the quantity never changes. And if you visualize a perfectly vertical demand curve, that should tell you that is perfectly inelastic, because the quantity does not change at all, no matter what the price is. But what they're asking is, what is the numerical value of the price elasticity of demand? Well, if you know the formula, which is right here, you know that if the quantity does not change at all, then Q2 minus Q1 is always going to be 0, because Q1 equals Q2 equals Q3 equals Q4, Q everything equals Q everything. So whatever you plug in here for Q2 and Q1, they're going to be equal, because quantity is at 20 always. So the numerator is always going to be 0. So the value of the expression, the value of the price elasticity of demand is going to be 0. Okay? Right? Now, it's asking you, if the government implements a per unit tax of $2 on good R, how much of the tax does the seller, the producer, pay? Well, you don't have to draw this graph, but I just drew it so you could see. I mean, in the actual exam, you don't have to, but I would do it because it's just good practice. So what you've got is you've got this vertical demand curve, and then you've got this per unit tax, which is going to shift the supply, or we could also say the marginal cost curve to the left. So you're going to get a difference right here in the $2. However, since the demand curve is vertical, demand is perfectly inelastic. The only thing that happens is the price goes up by $2. And now the consumers are paying exactly $2 more than they were before. And the tax is exactly $2, which tells us that the buyer is paying the total tax because their demand is perfectly inelastic, which means the seller is paying zero. Okay? Does that make sense? So the more elastic the demand is, the more the tax is paid by the seller. The more inelastic it is, as it becomes more and more inelastic, the buyer pays more and more of the tax. Okay? And that's pretty much it. This is easy, right? I think that's it. Yeah, for part 2. So we're almost done. This is simple. I expect when you guys take this exam in May, that these free response, you're going to breeze through this so easy because you're going to have done so many of these, and they're not that hard. Really, they're really not. Okay, where are we here? We are at problem 3. Sasha. Now we have Sasha, who is a spender, and she likes peanuts and bananas. So she spends all her income on peanuts. I think I would rather have coffee and fudge, but okay. Peanuts and bananas. And they're both normal goods, which means as your income goes up, you buy more of each of them. So we're going to assume that the last unit of peanuts consumed increased Sasha's total utility from 40 to 48 utils, and that the last unit of bananas she consumed increased her total utility from 52 to 56 utils. So if the price of a unit of peanuts was $1 and Sasha is maximizing her utility, calculate the price of a unit of bananas. Okay, let's stop right there. So what I did was I sort of created my own table so I could see it easier. And I added some things. So I used the total utils here, going from 40 to 48 and from 50 to 52 for peanuts and the bananas. And this I did not know. I did not know what that was. But I just went ahead and said, okay, I'm just going to do the simple quantities, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to assume, just so that this is, just so it's clear to me, and it doesn't matter. This could be 3, 4, 5. It could be 500, 600. It could be whatever. But I just put in something easy, 1, 2, and 3. So the third, or the last unit of each one took Sasha for peanuts from 40 to 48, and the last unit for bananas from 52 to 56. And that was given to us in the problem. Now, knowing that, I was able to compute the marginal utility for each one. 40 to 48 is a marginal utility of 8, and 52 to 56 is a marginal utility of 4. So that's the ratio, 8/4. And if I knew the problem told me that the price of peanuts was $1, in order to make this ratio work, in order to have an equality, which is where Sasha maximizes her utility, where this is equal, then I know that bananas have to be half the price of peanuts, since 4 is half of 8. So bananas have to cost 50 cents. Okay? Pretty easy, right? Now, nextly, they're asking us, what happens if the price of peanuts goes up and the price of bananas does not change? Okay? So once again, I like to use real numbers just to see what's going to happen, okay? So what I did is I said, okay, so I'm going to say the price of the peanuts goes up to $1.50. And it could be $1.10, it could be whatever, but $1.50 is easy for me because it's easy for me to say that $1.50 is 3 times 50 cents. So that tells me that if the price of bananas, if the price of peanuts, right? If the price of peanuts, the price of peanuts goes up and bananas stays the same, in order for the ratio here to still be equal, the marginal utility of peanuts has to get higher. And because I just arbitrarily used $1.50, it means in order for the ratio to be equal, it's got to be 12, because 12 is the 3 times 4, right? Now, I just put in some numbers just to show you that in order to get a higher marginal utility, you have to buy less of whatever it is. So in order for her marginal utility to go from 8 to 12, she had to buy fewer peanuts. And it doesn't have to be 2, but it could be anything. Just the answer is fewer, right? It's fewer, and I just put this in here, would give her a higher, some number higher than 8. So the answer is that she would buy fewer peanuts. And once again, I just put these numbers in, on my own, just so you could see it clearly. But the concept here is that if the price of something goes up, in order to keep the ratio the same, the marginal utility has to go up, which means you buy less of whatever it is. Okay? And really, when you think about that, it makes sense because part of how we look at benefit, right? Part of how we look at the benefit is what is the price, okay? So when the price goes up, she's thinking, I really don't think I want to buy as much of it. I'll be just as happy, right? So if we think about cookies, right? If I could say that if a cookies cost $1 each, I'm going to go ahead and buy 5 because I really, think that's what I want. 5 is going to maximize my happiness, right? But if the cookies are $5 each, then I'm thinking to myself, I'm pretty happy with just one because they're expensive. I'm pretty happy with just one, right? So price is also going to change the way consumers think about how much of something that they want. So when the price of the peanuts went up, Sasha said, you know what, I'm only going to buy 2 instead of 3, and that's going to maximize my utility, okay? So that's kind of the concept behind what we're doing here. So now, part B, assume the cross-price elasticity of demand between peanuts and bananas is positive, and a widespread disease has destroyed the banana crop. What will happen to the equilibrium price and quantity of peanuts? Okay, we have to know some things here. Okay, first of all, let's just think about what it means for the cross price to be positive. It means that if the price of one goes up, the demand of the other is going to go up. Okay, so that's what we know, or the other way around, because the expression to be for this expression to be positive, it means the quantity demanded of one good has to move in the same direction as the price of the other good. So if quantity demanded goes down for one, the price of the other one needs to go down. So both of these could be negative, or both of these could be positive in order for the overall expression to be positive, which would tell us that the goods are substitutes. Now, what the problem tells us is that there was a disease that killed the bananas. Now, knowing that, if we look at the demand and the supply for bananas, we know that when there's a supply shock, when a bunch of the banana, when the banana crop was ruined, that's going to push the marginal cost or the supply of bananas to the left, which is going to mean the price of bananas is going to go up. So that's how we know that the price of bananas goes up. And we know that from the problem that the cross price elasticity of the demand is positive. And we know the price of bananas went up. So we also know now that the quantity demanded of the other thing, peanuts, right? Yeah, peanuts had to go up, because in order for this to be positive, the quantity demanded of peanuts has to move in the same direction as the price of bananas. So now we know that more bananas are being demanded, okay? And I think that answers it, right? Yeah. So what happens to bananas is the demand curve, peanuts, sorry. What happens to peanuts is the demand curve is going to shift to the right because of the price of peanuts of a substitute going up. So when the price of a substitute good goes up, the demand for the other good shifts right, which means that the price of that good goes up and the quantity demanded of the good goes up, which answers it, I think. Yeah. So what will happen to the equilibrium price and quantity of peanuts in the short run? Well, they both go up, right? Now, we're going to assume that the price of bananas goes up, which we already actually showed that right here. And then it's asking us, will the substitution effect increase, decrease, or have no effect on the quantity demanded, or on the quantity of bananas demanded? Well, the answer is it's going to go up, right? Because if the price of a substitute good goes up, that means that, let me get this out of the way here, sorry. Let me extend this. That means that, give me 1 second here, go back down. So when the price of bananas goes up, consumers will buy fewer bananas, so the quantity of bananas goes down and peanuts goes up. And let me jump back to what they're actually asking us here. Right. So the effect will be that the quantity demanded of bananas goes down, right? And because of the income effect, because if the price of something you're buying, if the price of something in your budget goes up, it means your buying power overall goes down, right? If I have $100 and I'm buying 100 apples, and apples go up to $2, now I can only buy 50 apples, right? So my buying power for apples goes down when the price of apples goes up. So if the price of bananas goes up, her buying power, her real income goes down, and so her real income or buying power is going to go down. But just so you know, in this type of a problem, both the substitution effect and the income effect are going to have the same result. She's going to buy fewer bananas and more peanuts because of the substitution effect. And in order to maintain her same buying power, in order for her not to lose real income, she's going to stop buying bananas that are more expensive and start buying more peanuts, which are not more expensive. Okay? Does that make sense? Good? Easy, right? Now, I think that's it. I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay, so a reminder, this is the only time I'm gonna ask you to do it, but this is the one chapter where you need to go forward in the book and read appendix 8. Okay, this is a more advanced sort of part of it, but I think you'll be very well served to look through and to read over appendix 8 in the book, and the videos I think that match up with that. Let me check real quick, and then we'll be done. Right here, okay. Make sure you look at these because this is going to give you a really thorough understanding of this whole concept. Okay, all right, guys. And I'm working on your quiz. I want to try really hard to get your study guide out to you, hopefully by tomorrow, Saturday at the latest. You don't have your quiz, and these assignments are not due, until December 2nd because of Thanksgiving. So you've got a little bit of extra time. Okay. So use it to study. Okay.
Do you have an exam in the winter?
Say again. What?
Do you have an exam in winter?
No.
No?
You have a final. Say again? What?
Oh, I think he was asking whether we have a semester exam.
No.
Yeah, because in Canada they see the first semester grade to apply colleges. So so there'll be no grade for me in the first term.
There will be. There will be first term grade. It's just you won't have a first term exam. Well, whatever your grade average is at the end of hold on. I will tell you. Give me 1 second here. Let me think. What's documents? It always helps to go back and look at the syllabus. You know that, guys? Always helps. I tell my college students that all the time when they ask me questions that they could easily find the answer to if they look at the syllabus. Okay. Fall semester ends with assignment 6. Okay. Right. See, because this is spring with assignment 7. So you're going to finish assignment 5, with the quiz and the discussion, and then you're going to do assignment 6, and quiz 6, and the discussion, and whatever your average is up to that point is going to be your first semester grade. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, don't go yet.
Next term. Can I see the next term date?
Say again?
Can I see the next term, the date we start? Because I'm probably in China when you guys started. So
it's going to start.
January 7th.
On January 7th. Yeah. But look at all the time you have though. You got like 20 days here. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Holidays in there and everything.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Now, also, I sent this out to you too, guys. You should have it. I sent out the course calendar, right? So if you look at the course, calendar, you can see that the course resumes the 7th, and then you don't have to, and then the actual assignment isn't due until the 27th. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can either look at the syllabus. Now, let me just say this: if we get into the spring, right, and your spring and your winter break right here, or especially if your spring break right here doesn't match up, and you need some adjustment, then we'll work that out. Okay. Because different schools have a different spring breaks. This is the one for Connecticut, but yours might not be this. Okay. So if there's any problem, like if you're going to be traveling before this or after this, we'll make adjustments. Okay, just let me know. Okay. But before you go, let me make sure I have everyone. So let's see. Julia's here and Julia's here, right? Let's see, did I get that right? Yeah. And Grace is here again. Grace, she was here a minute ago. I don't know if she's still here or not. Mary Claire, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Snowing here. Crazy weather. You know what's funny is there's snow and then there's fall leaves falling on top of the snow. That's just weird because it's snowing so early in the year.
Is the initial post for the discussion due this Monday or next Monday? Because
Next Monday's fine. Yeah, because I got it up there late. I'm trying to get things caught up, but it just it's just hard to get. I was trying to get your grading caught up, and then I didn't get your discussion, but it's up there now though.
okay.
I just have a question about the discussion board because I was looking at it and working on it today. And I just have a question about the discussion board.
Sure. Yeah.
So the last question that we have to discuss on the discussion board is what country would you point to as a shining example of keyhole economics?
Yeah.
And I mean, Hartford doesn't really talk about any other examples of countries besides Britain.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He does? Oh,
Yep.
I must have missed that. So can we use one of them that he mentions?
At the very end, he uses Singapore
Oh,
as
so
the example.
can we use his example?
Unless I've lost my mind completely, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Maybe
Who here is a red? Who can back me up on that? Can anybody back me up on that?
I read it in July, but I don't
Oh,
know.
it's Singapore. No. To answer your question, at the very end, after he talks about the keyhole economics, he mentions Singapore as an example.
Okay. So we can use Singapore as the
I want you to use Singapore. Yeah, that was my point.
Okay. All right, cool. I was I couldn't really think of.
I probably should.
myself.
You know what? I'll probably should put in there something like hint. Use the example that Hartford uses, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I probably should. I wrote that this morning in a Starbucks myself.
Oh.
So I was going through the chapter and I was struggling with trying to fit because I want you. I don't want to make it too hard where it takes you forever, but I want you to sort of get out of the chapter what I want you to get out of the chapter. So I was thinking a lot about how to ask the questions, and this one wasn't so easy. So.
Right.
Anyway, hopefully it'll be okay. Do I have everyone?
You clicked, I think, the wrong box for.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. My eyes are like, okay, let's see, where are we here?
I'm at third to bottom.
Yeah. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I wasn't supposed to do that. Sorry about that.
It's
You're
okay.
right. You're right. Thank you. Yeah, I was
No
like, why is orange? And so 1, 2, so Nicole isn't here, right? And Lolita didn't come in. Sometimes she's very quiet, so I miss her sometimes. Oh, I know what I was going to add. I was it? Abigail or Annie, one of the two of you. I didn't mark you as being here, but I'm sure you were here, right? Weren't you both here?
The last for assignment 4, I was
4.
there for
You were there for one of them,
November
right?
7th. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I thought you were, and it was so okay.
I
It's fine.
kept having Wi-Fi problems. I kept kind of going in and out, but I was there.
Yeah, I remember you being there. Then at the end, I think you were quiet, so I didn't see you. Sophie, you're here. I don't see you, but you're here, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Sophie. Okay.
Hi.
So you asked to email me about something. What did you get that? You emailed me with a question. Did I answer you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because you guys have to remember. You have to take feel sorry for me, okay? Because I get emails from students from some. I have a lot of students in different classes, and sometimes my brain I lose track of who emailed me for what thing, right? And you guys are fine. You guys are good. I teach a freshman class here at City College, and they went to a lot of the kids here go to public high schools, and they're not nearly as prepared for college as you're going to be. So feel good about where you are. You're very, very lucky to be going to the high schools you're going to. So don't take it for granted because it's a good thing. I think that's everyone. Abigail, did Abigail come in? Abigail, no, she didn't come in for this, right? Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have. Thank you for coming on a snowy night in New York. I'm not sure if it's snowing where you are, but it's snowing where I am.
No here. Rarely.
It's
Man, it's
snowing in
snowing a lot
Chicago.
here. I mean, it's like this deep. It's like,
Oh my goodness, really?
yeah, man, it
The
was a
most snow
blizzard.
I've ever seen is like an inch, and it's like ice. Like it's not like the powdery stuff you see on like Hallmark. It's so crazy.
Where are you, Annie?
I'm from Louisiana, but I'm from like deep South Louisiana.
Oh, so you've never seen real snow, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's like, but the weird thing I have to tell you is that I've never seen fall leaves on top of snow, because
Really?
because it's only it's only halfway through November. It's normally never snowing this early.
I
This is
literally
freaky.
had no clue. I just like assumed like as soon as it starts getting cold, it just like snows. Like
Not since I've been in New York City now for 12 years, and I'm telling you, it's the first time we've had this much snow in mid-November that I can remember. I mean,
wow.
it starts snowing in the late December. We'll get snow, but not this early. Anyway, weird. Okay, well, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you. I'll do. I'm thinking about doing the video for the quiz study guide after Thanksgiving, right? Because we're here, so then the next week's going to be Thanksgiving, so I'll probably do the session for the quiz maybe Wednesday or Thursday of the next week, okay? But I'll let you know. All right, guys?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right,
you.
see you later. All right,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.